Hello everyone, Zelorant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, I thought it's been a little bit since I've done my last account review video, so I thought I'd go ahead and go on the Discord and take a look through some of the posts we have here. So we've had 3 of them in the last day, so we're going to take a look at them, kind of see what they're requesting on their account, and try and give some advice as I see kind of fit here. If you are in the Discord, don't be afraid also to go into account review and kind of put your own comments in here to help each other out. Because not everybody has the same idea on how they want to approach it. I'm also doing this live, so you might see some comments here in the right as well on screen that you can kind of take a look at, because they might have something to say that might disagree with me, because there's different ways to approach this game. So first, we're going to be looking at this post from Kendall B54. They're the one that asked in actual general chat earlier for some advice on there. So they're looking to build Frontrunner main. So looking some guidance on some of the better decisions to make on my account. I'm not sure if the move is to focus super hard on parent making, or if I should keep just making Umas for CM7. Current poll plan. Oh, they already have a poll plan. Well, it's kind of hard to tell on terms of whether the focus on parents or aces. I would have to kind of see your aces. You should always be working on making better parents and grandparents. One thing, though, that kind of I've been looking at on my account is I have like decent enough grandparents at this point. And most of them were ace runs that just ended up getting 3 blue and then at least 2 on the red of whatever the distance type was. And they've been working good enough. Once Make a New Track drops and we're doing a lot more races, I feel like that's when you're going to really starting to see your grandparents coming in. I feel like they're going to potentially give us the rerolls early, which would be even better for parent and grandparent making, because then you can reroll after a run. And so because of how much of a step up that will be on parent or grandparent / parent making, I wouldn't focus too hard on it and just kind of use what you've got at this point. Hopefully you've gotten some decent ones just from potentially failed ace runs and whatnot, and then make your Umas for the upcoming champions meetings. But with that, let's kind of take a look at your poll plans that you have here. Okay, so, and then you're also looking at your Uma polls / support card. So you're using Henry Handsome's poll thing here. So you got Mihono Bourbon, Kitasan Black. Yeah, you're definitely going into those front runners. So yeah, Kitasan Black and Seeing Sky Ballroom are going to be really fun to play on the very first champions meeting for the Make a New Track. The funny thing is, Ballroom Seeing Sky actually drops right in the middle of that champions meeting. And so if you want to really make these very, very good for that one, that long 3200 on the Hanshin racetrack, you'll actually want to pull Seeing Sky, build a parent Seeing Sky, then you build a new ace, Kitasan Black, using that parent Seeing Sky as well as your other parent. And then also build an ace Seeing Sky to be your partner to your Kitasan Black. And you'll want to actually have a parent Kitasan Black ready to go to build your Ballroom Seeing Sky. But that's going to be like a last second. You have 1 or 2 days to try and do all 3 of those runs if you want to do the long front runner. Or you could just go with what I think a lot of people do, is just run Kitasan Black. Kitasan Black will be strong on it by herself. Just you can be much stronger if you have both of them. But so far, that is pretty solid. If you're focusing primarily on front runners, that's good. Going right into Summer Mruzensky and Light Hello right after it. I will say on Summer Mruzensky, you can plan 400 polls because you do want to get Limit Break 1. But I will say you hopefully get 1 copy in 200 and then you stop at 200. You only need Limit Break 1. One of the things with Summer Mruzensky is that banner is actually a bad one for her. And if you're willing to wait, and I'm going to look it up here real quick. She will rerun not that long later. And she will rerun, let's see. it's going to be like 2 months later, or like 1.5 months later, she will actually rerun. Because right there, she's going to be paired with an SSR wit card that's not all that good. But if you can wait that 1.5 months later, she will be paired with Fine Motion instead of this card. And looking at what you have here, what do you have for Fine Motion? Oh, never mind. You don't need Fine Motion. Okay. I stand corrected. You don't need... It's actually the better to pull on her banner that she comes with. If you didn't have MLB Fine Motion, that's an opportunity for anybody that is looking at getting the Summer Maruzensky for their front runners, is to potentially wait until the other banner so you can get two for the price of one, Fine Motion and Summer Maruzensky. But you don't need her, so actually pulling for her on her starting one's going to be the one to go with. So I like the pull plan. Kind of looking at the upcoming banners as a front runner main. Let's see on your carrots here. You have 60,000. And if you have to do all these pulls, it's saying you're going to be sitting real pretty on pulls after this. 200 on this one. This is the light hello banner. It'll come down to your luck. You might potentially want to do 400 on this one. And the reason being is depending on how your luck goes. I mean, if you can MLB Agnes Tachyon, or you can get at least Limit Break 3 on Light Hello, that'll be pretty good overall. From what I've read, Limit Break 3 is very, very good for Light Hello. You just only need technically one copy to get the main advantage. But Limit Break 3 kind of has additional advantages to it. I don't know all the details on it. Just something to think about. It's a while off, so we don't really need to get into details on it. But I think your plan's pretty good overall. I'm trying to think if there's any others you might want to pull in that range. Let's see. Kind of in this pull plan. Now this is if you only are focusing on front runners. So that's excluding the non-front runner stuff around there. I'm not seeing anything too crazy. But I will say, how many carrots do you have after Mihono Bourbon here? Carrot estimate. Okay. You may want to pull on the NTR banner and try and get a copy of Admire Vega. You do have Nishino Flower here at 3 limit break. Hopefully you can get lucky and get her to 4 or max limit break, because she has the 15% race bonus, which will be useful in making you track. And if you don't, she might be a potential target to use one of your SR crystals to bring to MLB for making you track. But on the NTR banner, it has Admire Vega Guts. And if you were to do the Guts build, which you can because you have Yukino, you have Urara, of course. You just did this event. And then you have Admire Vega, and you can MLB that one potentially. You can do the Guts build and make a new track, which will be very, very strong for getting some very strong, high numbers. And potentially, even if you don't get that one, you can always, one of your borrow options, especially being a frontrunner main, because I don't see you having the card. And even if you do, it's probably low limit break. NS Fujin. NS Fujin is a Guts card the Guts card that has Restless on it. So if you're needing a heal, she can give you Restless as your heal with a Guts build and make a new track. So you could I could see potentially skipping that if you make that your primary borrow potentially. Kind of just looking at where your other race bonuses are. I mean, you have Mihono Bourbon Wit that you'll want to use alongside Fine Motion. And then you have your Guts. And then, yeah, then you could just borrow... Yeah, then you could just borrow the NS Fujin and actually do a Guts build. So you maybe potentially could... This might be all you need to do. And you might be safe. Especially if you're not willing to whale out. But yeah, overall, your account's looking pretty good. The fact that you have Fine Motion already MLB. You already have Kitasan Black MLB. Nothing else too crazy on the SSR side, but make a new track, that's not going to be that big of a deal. So I think you're on solid track, and if all this shapes up to be good, it looks like you're going to have still 60,000 carats at the end of this banner. Although, potentially might want to spend more there. That's kind of just my thoughts on that. But that is 100% if you're only doing front runners. And maybe using like a debuffer, like one example would be on the Mihono Bourbon Valentine's banner. You have Asian Flash, who's also a Dominator. Dominator might be a popular option to bring on like mediums. Or some other form of debuffer to help out your front runners if you're going to go all in on them when it comes to your champions meetings. But overall, you're looking pretty good. Oh, I didn't actually see your Umas here. You have Summer Maruzensky. We have Mayano Top Gun for a front runner. And not having... now, Silent Suzuka will not be able to get runaway during Make a New Track, but she'll still be a good front runner. But you do have Maruzensky, which is good. For her potential inherit on certain races. Man, you don't have Taiki Shuttle. Because when it comes to the Selector, if you're willing to spend money on the Selector, I think you're going to want to go with Taiki Shuttle over Silent Suzuka, just because her ult will have value in the future on there. Oh yeah, and someone mentions Daiwa. I mean, you have enough front runners. I definitely see that. So that's why I'm thinking Taiki Shuttle. If you're willing to spend money on the Selector, Taiki Shuttle has potential. And one of the reasons being, as we're seeing with Scorpio Cup here, you love your front runners. You can do a 3 front runner build on Scorpio Cup. And your third Uma, or basically the one that's going to be the one behind the other two, can activate Taiki Shuttle's ult from third place. And so potentially you could do something with that in a front runner build. So definitely pick up Taiki Shuttle if you can with any future selectors we have for debut Umas. Do you have Seiyun Sky? I wasn't even looking. You do not have Seiyun Sky. Get Seiyun Sky. If you are willing to buy a selector, get Seiyun Sky first. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm not blind. Get Seiyun Sky first. You're going to main front runners, she's going to be needed. You're going to definitely want to have her. But overall, I think you're pretty good. I think you have a good pull plan. You've been pretty careful on your carrots. So I like where your direction's going. I think you're hurting the most on Umas a little bit just because you're missing Seiyun Sky. But I think that might get corrected here. Who knows? This could very well end up getting you her. And if not, you have the selector from Anniversary if you're willing to spend like $20 to $30. Alright, that's going to be it for that one. Let's take a look at this one here. Where to use my Selector and SSR. So this is just asking about the Selector we have and the SSR upgrade crystal, I'm going to guess. Help figuring out where to use my Selector and SSR upgrade now that I was able to pull on the Kitasan Black banner. Okay, so Kitasan Black just dropped. So they got to dump a ton of pulls to get that. Was leaning towards Fine Motion Wit to get it up to Limit Break 3, but looking for guidance. And you're going for, oh, another front runner. Everybody loves front. I will say, if you're like free to plays, front runners will be hard in the long term. Just to kind of let you know. Doesn't matter. I mean, if you're heavily investing in them, you're basically like a whale. If you're basically ignoring all the others anyway, since you're going to invest specifically for them. But they are the hardest ones to build. Let's see. So did get the MLB at Kitasan Black. We don't know. You're just kind of asking on your selector in that, though. So that, your Fine Motion's at Limit Break 1. Biko Pegasus Limit Break 1. So, I mean, that's definitely not going to be worth it at all. Man, Limit Break 3 on Vodka's pretty nice. I wouldn't use it there, though. Fine Motion may be your best option currently. I don't see... You don't even have a single copy of Super Creek, which kind of sucks, but you do have Rice Shower, which is going to work for a little bit anyway for your Swinging Maestro. Now, it depends on where you're at on your carrots, because one of the things is Fine Motion. You need MLB to get the 10% race bonus. If you don't have that, at Limit Break 3, you'll only have 3%. Now, you're definitely not going to want to use the Selector for Super Creek because you don't even have her. So you would pick her up and she would be useless to... Oh, wait. Maybe you have her. Wait. You down here? I'm just playing. Okay, you do have a 0 limit break on her. So you don't even need to get 1 copy. Don't really see anything else to pick up. So if you're going to use Fine Motion right now, I could say maybe that works. If you have the crystals, the weight and pull on the Fine Motion banner, and this is really going to depend on where you're going to be on carrots and your priorities on other pulls leading up to it. But we're going to have Christmas Ogre Cap, Major Dober, Nice Nature, Wit. Then we'll have the free pulls on the Fuku card coming out soon. And then, being a frontrunner main, we'll have Valentine's Bourbon dropping. And then after Valentine's Bourbon, what is it, like 2.5 weeks later, we'll have the Fine Motion rerun. But that Fine Motion rerun is going to be right next to Kitasan Black, the new Scenario banner, and then not too long after that, Ballroom Seiyun Sky. So a lot of frontrunner stuff around there. And so if you're wanting to heavily invest in those banner or in frontrunners, those banners are going to murder your carrots and your wallet if you're willing to spend money. So I think Fine Motion may be a good option. Anyone else that wants to give advice on that, you can go ahead and put it there. But I think that might be a good decision because you can use 3 limit break is what I'm currently using. I have her at 3 LB, but I'm as some would call, a whale who's not doing just front runners. And so I have a lot of other priorities too that I'm trying to like min-max the use of those cards. But in your situation, I think making her immediately valuable to you in Unity Cup is worth it, since you do have a Super Creek MLB. You do have an MLB Rice Shower to kind of help carry you through Unity Cup. And we will have a Super Creek rerun, I believe, right at the end or close to the end of Make a New Track or at the beginning of Grand Live to give you an opportunity to try and MLB her. Plus, we'll have the first anniversary selector, plus, if you're willing to spend money, 2 selectors to kind of try and top her up or whatever else. And so, yeah, I think it might be worth it to do it in your case. You'll have a lot stronger Umas for Unity Cup, and then she'll still have some value going all the way into Make a New Track. So that's kind of my thoughts on that one. But I wouldn't also blame it if you just hold on to them for future planning. But that selector's not going to get much more value anyway. And just holding on to it, you are losing the value of time. So I would agree with your thing here to take it to Limit Break 3. So we got one more here that came out 1 minute ago. Oh, people are already posting in these. Going to be MLBing Crystal and pulling for Fine Motion, what to pull after. Trying to figure out what support cards pull. We're going to be pulling for Christmas, Ogre, and Valentine Bourbon when those release, and Kitasan Black, Uma, and Ballroom Seiyun. Everybody loves frontrunners in my Discord, I guess, when they release, and wondering if there'll be any other Umas I should pull for, since I mainly do pace fronts with the occasional end closer. Someone doesn't like gambling. They like the ones like me that are consistent where they're strong. Well, this one's going to be if you're spending money, because there's a lot of stuff around there that'll be useful. But let's see what you got here. So Kitasan Black banner pulled. Where is she? There she is. MLB, nice. 3 limit break, Super Creek, really good. Where's your Fine Motion? Or do you not have any copies of Fine Motion? Oh, you got Yukino. That's nice. So you don't even have to... That's not even one thing to think about when it comes to that no stopping me if you ever want it. So it looks like you have 0 copies of Fine Motion. Man, that's kind of a tough spot to be in there. But since you do say you plan to pull on it, I mean, I think you're pretty good. I think your plan's mostly sound here. Kitasan Black, Christmas Ogre, Valentine's. Ballroom saying, I'm going to guess you're going to skip Major Odober, which makes sense. If you're willing to spend money, she might be the one you want to use your selector on the first anniversary. Let me see what you have here, though. Before I go saying that. Oh, you don't have Saiyan Sky, do you? Yeah. Okay, if you're willing to spend money, go ahead and buy yourself the Saiyan Sky with the selector on the first anniversary. That's going to be the biggest thing you're going to want for your frontrunners, just so you can make your life a little bit easier to build your aces with apparent Saiyan Sky. But I think your plan overall is pretty good as long as you have the carrots / spending limit to do that. Not having fine motion, I will say, and I can actually just pull this up here real quick. It might be a little bit easier to show it. All right, it took me a second to find it, but when the other big card that you're going to want to pick up for Summer Ruzensky drops for your frontrunners, right here, depending on how many carrots you're willing to spend, or if you're someone that spends money at all, since you do need fine motion, and fine motion's paired with that Kawakami Princess, which is bad, Ruzensky Speed is paired with Nakayama Festa, which is not really a good wit card. If you can hold off for a little bit, and I feel like you'll be fine through make a new track is very friendly on the cards that you can use during it and still make fairly good Umas. If you're willing to wait all the way through up to when Grand Live launches, which it's right here's the rerun, so it's not too long after Grand Live, I believe. Yeah, there's Grand Live starts. So like a month and a half-ish into Grand Live, you're going to have this banner. It's the Maruzensky Speed, Summer Maruzensky Speed card that you're going to absolutely want your front runners, paired with fine motion. This is going to be the most economical banner for you. You do have to wait a while, and it will be probably 1 CM into Grand Live. But if you want to really save your carrots, this is a very good banner. So that's just my thoughts on that, just kind of when it comes to min-maxing your carrots. You just lose the advantage of being able to use fine motion through all of Make a New Track and a little bit of Grand Live. But very economical way to play it, though. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts there. Oh, and you have a poll plan as well. Let's take a look at that. Well, I mean, you already mentioned you were planning those. So that's my thoughts, because if you think about this, you're doing 200 pulls there and 200 pulls there. 200 pulls on that banner that has both of them on it is basically worth these 400. You're basically getting the equivalent of these 400 pulls on that single banner. So if that's your plan, you're saving 200 pulls. So you could theoretically do 400 pulls on the banner that is topping up Maruzensky and Fine Motion for the same cost. So huge savings there if you're able to wait. I know it would suck. It's just something to think about. But that's pretty much it. I think that kind of covers everything on yours. I mean, I'll post in all of these, the video, once I get it uploaded. But that's it for now. I'll try and do more of these more often as I see posts out here. I know I'm really busy and I make a lot of other videos, so sometimes I kind of forget about them. But if you do want me to take a look at what your account has or any kind of guidance you need, or you want my thoughts, just go ahead and post it here. Some other people in the Discord will also post as well. But that'll be it for now. And if you like my content, if you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.